In order to build success as a trader, you essentially want to string together the longest run that you can. And it doesn't have to be, I'm not talking about a huge winning streak. I'm not talking about that. But you want to string together a run of like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months of really good trading, right?
Okay.
And good trading does not always mean that you make money. I think that there's this really fascinating perspective here. And I'm sorry, this is a small tangent, but I promise it's worth it. I heard this perspective the other day of having something aligned as A goals, B goals, and C goals. And for me, in trading, if I was going through this period of my life again, and I was trying to figure out, okay, got my ass kicked, pardon my French, for 2 years, and then I struggled with a year where I finally made some ground, but I was still having blow-up days or giving back all my profits some days or still struggling it. Understanding that you just need to string together as long of a stretch of consistency in trading as you can, that's the ultimate objective, right? And in order to do that, it doesn't have to be winning every day. This concept of A goals, B goals, and C goals would dramatically change my life. An A type of day, let's say you finish your trading day, and at the end of it, when you're doing your journaling and you're marking up how you did, you said, this was an A day for me. This was great across the board. For me, that would look like I took a trade and it hit my target, right? Like it went to my target and I made XXX money. I don't care how much, but it hit my target.
You judge it on the outcome of what happened, or I followed the plan, even if it's a loss, it's an A day?
For me, an A day would be making my trade works. It makes money, all that. And I love that you said that, because a B day would, for me, qualify as just following the plan, right?
Interesting. Okay.
Whether it works, whether you make money, whether you lost, whether you get stopped out by a tick and then it goes and hits your target, doesn't matter. If you followed your plan, that's a B day. That's a day where, hey, was it perfect? No, not necessarily. Did you do anything wrong? Not necessarily. You could have just taken a loss, but it wasn't the dream ideal outcome, right? Which is a winner. I mean, that's just what an A outcome would be for me. A C day would qualify as not blowing up, right? Following your risk limits. So if you are somebody that risks 1% a day, if you stayed within that 1%, and you lost, even if that's the max you're willing to lose, but you stayed within it, and you didn't go on tilt, and you didn't blow up, that's a C day, right? Okay. If you can have almost or all trading days as A, B, or C, in theory, you'll succeed, right? Like if you just exclude everything else, if you have a functional strategy, right, and from a psychological perspective, you're able to keep your trading day to either A, you make money, B, you simply followed your plan, or C, you didn't go on tilt. Over the course of 1,000 days, you are going to be successful. As long as your strategy is functional, as long as all that, you are going to be successful. The things that hurt traders are the days where they go below a C grade, right? Which would mean that, hey, maybe you're one day away from a payout and you really want to get big, so you blow it up, right? That would be an F, right? Let's say, or whatever the case may be, you tilt that day, you overtrade, you have a daily loss limit, but you change it. That would be an F, right? Those would be the things. I think that if a trader is struggling out there right now, identifying in the year 3 mark, identifying A goals, B goals, and C goals makes it a whole hell of a lot easier to keep a streak alive, right?
Okay, so it's interesting because A, B, and C, I can see how they connect, but it feels like it's a lot easier said than done. Because people are like, I am doing these things, but I have the 4th day, let's call it the D-Day, Doomsday, which is I follow the plan and then I end up not following the plan.
Yeah.
And I end up not having the C-Day, I end up going on tilt. And even though they know they should have an A or B, they should follow the plan, for some reason they can't. Or the issue that you had in your first 2 years, you don't have a plan to follow in the first place. So how can we address the 4th one, a D-Day scenario?
Absolutely. And I think for me, it's significantly easier now than it was a few years ago. I'm not going to lie. With the rise of prop firms and really the rise of futures trading, there's platform-enabled risk controls out there on virtually every trading brokerage that you're going to be trading with. I would say that TradeStation is an exception, but for those people trading futures, right, or if you're using Tradeovate, or if you're using Project X, Top Steps platform, almost all of these brokerages now allow you to enable a max daily loss, where if you hit that number, you physically cannot, and like the platform won't let you enter more trades, right? A lot of traders see this as like a negative. They're like, I don't like, it holds me back, so I hit the daily loss and then my trade works immediately afterwards. I'm like, well, then you planned your risk poorly. That's what that means, right? Like for me, if you're trying to prevent, if you had asked me this question 2 years ago, it'd be a lot different of an answer because I traded a lot. I still trade options all the time, but a lot of my energy has shifted to futures for no other reason than I think I'm really good at them. And I love these platform risk controls because when you are trading futures, it's not up to me. I don't let Jake in the moment who just took a loss, who maybe is seeing the loss he took start to reverse, do that. I don't let Jake make that decision. I let past Jake, who made a decision during the pre-market or the night before or whenever, whatever he decided on how much I'm willing to risk that day, he probably had a little bit of a better thought process behind it. He seemed to be in a stable mindset. He seemed to be doing something smart. And so I leave it up to them, to former Jake, and my platform. And the platform will shut me out. A lot of my losing days, I don't know the math, but I would guess that the number's pretty high. A lot of my losing days are daily loss limit days. And I lose like 2 or 3 times a week. And I hit my daily loss limit, and I'm like, oh well, that happened yesterday. I trade, I hit my daily loss limit, and I'm like, it's part of it, right? And I think that's really the hard part because most traders struggle with that, right?
I saw some profit founders that I know, they said the number one reason people blow accounts is because of the daily loss. I was like, wait, so people don't just go down to the -10, they just mess it up in one day. I was like, if you can now put systems in place to prevent that, you're beating the odds just because of that, most likely.